Good afternoon and welcome to the Commentary Hub's alternative audio coverage of Plymouth Argyle against Southampton in the EFL Championship. I'm your alternative host, Nicholas Jones, and whilst we've been focusing quite a lot on the Women's World Cup in recent weeks, it's good to come back to matches at home every now and again, isn't it? And our main commentator is John JB Stoddard. John, good afternoon. How do you see this game panning out?
Well, it's nice. First of all, before we go on about the game, Nicholas, it's nice to be back with you. Great commentary on the World Cup, by the way. Fantastic stuff, and hopefully you'll be our lucky mascot tomorrow. We hope England will win the World Cup and bring it home. As for this game, Plymouth, I feel, have started well this season. I mean, they had that victory here at home park, 3-1 against Neil Warnock's Huddersfield on opening day. Southampton, of course, off the back of a 4-4 draw with Norwich, which was an unbelievable game. One end of the field to the other at St Mary's. So it's hard to tell. But what I can tell you is, folks, that whoever wins this game today, for at least a couple of hours, will be top of the Championship. And wouldn't it be a lovely story if Plymouth Argyle, freshly up from the Championship under the great managership of Stephen Schumacher, went up as well, went up as top. It's still a long way to go in the season, but I really do think this will be a great game, Nicholas. Absolutely, for sure.
Yes, that's right. And on paper, you'd expect Southampton to struggle because with Lavia and Ward-Prowse now gone, new talent will be needed to fill in those roles. And after their defeat in the League Cup to Gillingham and that 4-4 draw against Norwich, which you mentioned, Southampton really need to up their game.
They do, but there are still vultures flying around for some of their players. Notably Nathan Teller. There's still a lot of interest from Burnley. Now there's a lot of interest in him from Germany. Adam Armstrong, Che Adams has been the subject of a £12 million bid from Everton in the last 24 hours, which has been rejected, as Russ reported yesterday. So this is, so it's quite a tough time for Russell Martin, who did a magnificent job at Swansea on a very tight budget. I don't know what the budget is going to be like at Southampton. They did spend an awful lot of money when they were in the Premier League last season, and think about well over £100 million on players, which didn't quite fit the system. They used 3 managers. What they need at that club now is consistency and certainly transparency, certainly with the ownership. Give Russell Martin every possible chance in the world to build a team and be patient with him, because he's a very good manager. He knows the Championship like the back of his hand. And, Southampton have to be patient with him. I still think it's a strong squad they've got out there today. I think Russell Martin will be happy when the transfer window closes in something around about, 10, 12 days' time. So we'll just have to wait and see how that one goes. But the likes of Teller and Che Adams are still being looked at from Premier League and clubs around Europe. So it's going to be I think the next 2 weeks is going to be a little bit tricky for Southampton. If they can keep a couple of those players to what they've got already in the squad, and of course, you look at the likes of Bednarek and Walker Peters, they'll be sought after property as well. So there's some very good players there, but can they hold on to them? That's the key.
Any interesting targets both in and around Plymouth Argyle for domestic clubs?
Well, the top scorer is Wayne with 2 goals, but I don't think he's playing today. In fact, I think he's not even on the bench. He's on the bench, unfortunately. But one player that I do think is very good is Ryan Hardy. I think he's a very, very good player. And you look at the likes of Kundal and 1 or 2 others. But 1 or 2 of the, I mean, it's a couple of years since I commentated on Plymouth. Last commentated on them in an FA Cup tie against Sheffield United a couple of years back. So the names will be a bit unfamiliar to me as a commentator, but I'm sure seasoned Plymouth fans will tell you what would obviously tell you down here. But Morgan Whittaker looks a very good player. He's got 1 goal this season. But I would say Wayne is probably their best player. But as I say, Stephen Schumacher has put him on the bench.
Yes, he might well have done. I'm talking of lineups and who's on the bench. Who have we got?
And the lineups, yes, I'll give you the lineups straight away. No problem. So we've got Connor Hazard in goal for Plymouth Argyle. And then we've got Mumba, Horton, Scar, Edwards skippers the Plymouth Argyle team. at number 8, Ryan Hardy, number 9, Morgan Whittaker, 10, Gibson, 17, Azaz, 18, Kundal, 28, and Kesler Hayden, 29. Okay, and the substitutes are Burton, the goalkeeper, Spread Zigio, some names here are quite unpronounceable, Butcher, Wright, Miller, Warrington, Wright, Randall, and Wayne. For Southampton, currently 6th in the Championship at the moment, going decently enough, but without too much impression under Boston Russell Martin, is Gavin Bazuna in the goal. Then it's Kyle Walker-Peters, Jack Stevens, Jan Bednarek, the big centre-back. Stevens, in fact, skippers the side. Ryan Manning, Shea Charles, Stuart Armstrong, Nathan Teller, Samuel Edozie, Adam Armstrong, and Shea Adams completes their 11. And on the bench, Lumley, Bree, Perot, Liangro, Doyle, Aribo, Amaro, Mara, and Ballard. Some of these names, Nick, absolutely unpronounceable.
You tend to do that. You tend to get that quite a lot in the top 2 divisions. So before we get going, just a quick recap of some of the results from the matches last night in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest beat Sheffield United 2-1 in the Premier League, and in the Championship it was a 1-1 draw between Leeds United and West Bromwich Albion. We're about to. The team's just about getting ready to come out. So before I cross over to JB, just a quick mention of the Women's World Cup third place playoff, which took place earlier today. Sweden beat Australia 2-0. So now we know who are third. So now we know who will take the third place slots. So it looks like a buzzing atmosphere at home park. The fans now beginning to fill in the stands, and the players and the match officials are just about coming out now. So without further ado, let's cross over to home park and JB Stuttard.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, and welcome to the wonderful town of Plymouth, a great town, famous for its in fact, it's 2 teams that have naval traditions, really. Southampton more are on the south coast, and of course you've got Devon as well for Plymouth, of course, famous for its hoe, and of course a very good Plymouth Argyle side as well. Back in the Championship after quite a number of years away, flirting around the bottom 2 divisions of the Football League. But they do have a very, very good side under Stephen Schumacher, of course, taking over from Ryan Lowe, of course, who left to join Preston early last season. The sun is out here down in the West Country where they drink cider down here. Will they be toasting the cider tonight? Let's have a look at the 2 teams then. Starting again, well, we'll recap anyway. Starting with Plymouth Argyle, Connor Hazard in goal, Joe Edwards, Dan Scarr, Lewis Gibson, Kesler Hayden, Hazaz, Horton, Kundal, Whittaker, Hardy, and Mumba completing the lineup for Stephen Schumacher's men. And in fact, Edwards will play at right back, Kesler Hayden at left back, and Hardy, the main striker, with Mumba, number 2, and Whittaker flanking him there. So a 4-3-3 essentially for the Green Army, the Pilgrims, as their old nickname suggests. As for Southampton, it's Gavin Bazuna in goal, Kyle Walker-Peters, Jan Bednarek, Jack Stevens, Ryan Manning, Adam Armstrong, Shea Charles, Stuart Armstrong, Nathan Teller, Che Adams, and Samuel Edozie completes the lineup. We'll run through the substitutes in a little bit as well for you, so don't worry if you missed the subs earlier on. Again, 4-3-3, so obviously Russell Martin matching Schumacher in terms of formation. Teller will play on the right-hand side of the front 3 with Che Adams in the centre and Edozie on the left-hand side. So a terrific atmosphere building up here at Home Park. It's a full house. And it was for the opening game when they beat, they won 3-1 against Neil Warnock's hard-to-beat Huddersfield Town. Of course, Southampton have had their trials and tribulations, losing 2 key players, Chase Ward-Prowse certainly being one of them. You had that 4-4 draw last week against Norwich City where it could have gone either way. And then we had then they had that surprise cup defeat at Gillingham last week. So the players now looking forward to this game as well. This is Southampton. Looks like white to me rather than a little bit of teal. So it's a bit white with teal trim by the looks of it there for Southampton. Southampton players now getting into their now traditional huddle. As Stephen Schumacher, what a job he has done. A Liverpudlian by birth, but certainly an honorary Plymouth for sure, an honorary Cornishman. Beautiful part of the world down here in the West Country. Cricket's more their sport in these parts. And Plymouth Argyle, one of the more famous names in English football to have never played top flight football in their history. They have reached the FA Cup semi-final in their time, 1984. But that's the closest to football distinction they've had. Southampton, of course, have played in the top division a long time before this season. 13 years they had in the Premier League before they, of course, they had 28 years before that, the spell before. And of course, they've only won one major trophy in their history. That's the FA Cup in '76. They were a second division side then, but Southampton in those white and teal gets us away. David Webb from County Durham. He's had to travel a long way to come down here to Home Park this afternoon from one end of the country to the other, from the northeast to the southwest. David Webb is our referee from County Durham this afternoon. As the ball is spread out to the far side, and that's just been kept in there by Mumba, number 2. Now number 28 on the ball is Luke Cundle in field. And now Hessler Caden plays that over to Mumba, who cuts the ball into the penalty area. It's a good start here from Plymouth. And they might get an early chance there, and the shot deflected away. And that could have been a terrific start for Plymouth Argyle right at the start. I think Azaz had the final shot in the end, but again, the build-up play was a superb build-up play from Plymouth Argyle. And Azaz trying to stab it goalwards, but Jan Bednarek is too coy of a defender to be fooled by that. And in the end, it was a good block. The ball back with Gavin Bazunu, the goalkeeper, and Southampton having difficulties playing up from the back, and Plymouth have got it right on the edge of the Southampton box. They've started really well. Shot comes in, deflected. I think Plymouth wanted a bit more than what they fancied there. I think they wanted a free kick or a penalty, but Bazunu there taking a long time and was almost dispossessed himself there. Shot came in. I think they were trying to claim a penalty or a handball of some kind, but at the moment, Southampton having real difficulties now. They've got Stuart Armstrong on the ball. There's two Armstrongs on the ball. Stuart, number 17, and Adam Armstrong, number 9, as a striker. Here's Teller, who impressed so much on loan at Burnley last season, and scored a cracking goal, you may remember, in the game I did last season when they came back from behind to beat West Brom 2-1 at Turf Moor. Still talking about him going to the turf for the season. I think Southampton wants something like £15 million for Teller. But I feel that with so many wingers now at the Turf Moor now, maybe Teller might not be on Vincent Kompany's shopping list, but we'll see. Here's Armstrong, trying to stab the ball forward, but again, good challenge there from the Plymouth players, and the Tigers stayed down. And the chase there it was Ryan Hardy on the chase, but it was going to fall into Gavin Bazunu. The ball over the top was a very good ball, but just hit with too much venom in the end. And Plymouth are having a little bit of joy in the opening 2 minutes of this game. But never discount Southampton. They won at Sheffield Wednesday on the opening day. Che Adams taking the goal of Nathan Teller, you may remember. Everyone thought Nathan Teller had scored, but it got the slightest of deflections off Che Adams and into the net as goalkeeper Connor Hazard is a Northern Irishman. I have been talking about him. Has been talking about him becoming a Northern Irish international of the future as we look at, as I look at Russell Martin there. Main stand over the far side where the two benches are. Beautiful sunny afternoon down in the West Country, the home of combined harvesters and cider. 0-0. I hope my attempt at a West Country accent didn't put you off the commentary of this game. Remember, we're live on the TC Hub, alternate commentary of this game. And there's plenty more action to come this evening. We've got Manchester City against Newcastle with Russ Vernon and presenter Paul James. Here's Stuart Armstrong making inroads, but again, Plymouth starting on the front foot. And here goes Mumba, who's had plenty to say for himself in the opening exchanges. Ball knocked forward by Kundal. But now, Benderek has, in fact, a free kick has been given to Plymouth from referee David Webb. Just to complete the officials, incidentally, the two assistants today, or the linesmen, if you want to go into older money, Robert Smith and Nigel Lugg, and the fourth official, Tom Neild. No VAR, of course, in the Championship, which, as a commentator, is quite pleasing, really, because you can debate things without the aid of a little bit of trickology at Stockley Park. We'll have VAR back when I go up to Weller Park tomorrow. Big weekend of football here on the TC Hub, incidentally. As I said, tonight we've got a big one in the Premier League. West Vernon, your Fox in the Box. They'll be linked by our presenter tonight, Paul James, as they cover at Manchester City Newcastle game. That's going to be at humdinger. Join them at around about 10 to 8 this evening, if you can, on all TCR platforms. And then the big one tomorrow with Nicholas. A terrific final in prospect, the Women's World Cup final. We kick the programme will start around about 11:15, or no, it might be a bit, they may get a bigger build-up to the final because there's England involved. England against Spain. Nicholas Jones, your Fox in the Box for that one. And Nicholas has been England's women's lucky charm for the last two championships so far. Let's hope it holds well tomorrow against the Spanish. And his finest commentaries came against the Spaniards when England took them on in the Euros last season, that dramatic quarter-final which went to extra time. And they had to come from a goal down to win, and one of Nicholas's finest ever commentaries, in my humble opinion. And then after all that excitement, if England win or lose, we'll be going off to Villa Park, where I'll be in situ to cover Aston Villa against Everton. One of the oldest top-flight games in top-flight history. That kicks off at around about 2 o'clock. And then at 4:30, Paul James will be commentating on the Chelsea game as well. So plenty to look forward to in the next 48 hours or so on the TC Hub and all these particular participating platforms, including JB Sports, Storm FM, TC Hub itself, and TC Hub 2. There's an injury here for number 3, Ryan Manning, signed from the MK Dons. Came with a little bit of an innocuous challenge by one of the Plymouth players. Plymouth, of course, wearing all green. Green Army is their unofficial nickname, but their real nickname, in fact, it goes back a lot of years, is the Pilgrims. Due to the seafaring that goes on in the city. And foul there on one of the Southampton players. Free kick there. Hazard's the guilty party that time. Been going inside the Southampton half, mind you. They've taken it quickly and got it back to Bazuna, who, rather, they took it too quickly to referee Webb's liking. Now they've had to. So it was a bit of a false start there. So they're back running again. I just hope my voice can stand 3 games in way over 72 hours. Here's Stuart Armstrong on the right-hand side, hugging that right-hand touchline, but he's gone in field now on the halfway line. The ball threaded through to the centre circle. If you're just joining us, 8 minutes gone. Plymouth 0, Southampton 0 in the Championship. 12:30 kickoff. We've had just shy of 10 minutes here down on the West Country. And here is number 24 there for Southampton, which is Charles. And it's a throw to Southampton, taken quickly by Walker Peters. Back to Charles, back to Walker Peters, who cuts in from the right-hand side. Again, patient build up there. Teller has a touch. Here he is now, Nathan Teller. A lot of Burnley fans. Still wanting back at the club after what happened last season. I think Southampton might have something to say there. Stuart Armstrong absolutely poleaxed there. Now 10 yards outside the area by big number 6 there, Dan Scarr. And it will be a free kick to Southampton just to the left of the D. It was a crunching challenge there by Scarr. I think if it had been later on in the game, I think Scarr would have picked up a booking. Because they've had less, no, he's going to get the booking. It took referee Webb about a minute there to work it all out. I thought it was just going to be a stiff talking to, and that was about it. But I think it is a bookable offence, in my opinion. It just so happens that it took the referee about 5 hours to get round to booking him. Anyway, free kick. 9.5 minutes gone on all TCF platforms. We're still waiting. Armstrong's still poleaxed on the ground, but he's getting up to his feet, I'm pleased to tell you. So 1 foul committed each, but Dan Scarr now in the book. A real opportunity now. David Webb actually is in a fluorescent yellowish green refereeing outfit. I would say yellowish. Obviously, you don't want to. I should tell you that Plymouth are in dark green. And Conor Hazard in an all blue goalkeeper's kit has got some sorting out to do in the wall. There's 5 in it, plus a man lying behind it in case Stuart Armstrong tries to hit it low. And the Manning is there too on the scene. And I fancy it's going to be Armstrong with the right foot. It is Armstrong with the right foot, and it's straight down the throat of Conor Hazard, who held onto it well. I think it was dead central, really, which made it easier for the Plymouth goalkeeper to take. Yeah, it was just going a bit too dead central there. Wasn't going down as the great Jeff Boycott would say in cricket, the corridor of uncertainty. And it was an easy save in the end for Hazard. Or for Hazard, I should say. Don't want to get him confused with Eden Hazard. Or Forgan, for that matter. His younger brother. Eddie's younger brother, of course. Hazard is a Northern Ireland, plays for the Northern Ireland under 21s, of course. It's Adam Armstrong, the top scorer with 3 goals. He got a hat-trick last week against Norwich. Certainly got a couple, I think, against Norwich last week in that 4-4 draw. But there's a great feeling around home park at the moment. Champions of a very competitive League One last year, which included the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton Wanderers, and Ipswich Town amongst teams. And so to come out of that league top of the pile was a great achievement for Plymouth Argyle, considering their budget and everything else that goes before it. Of course, Stephen Schumacher's first objective really is to 50 points. 12 gone, 0-0. Southampton will be expected to be in and around that top 6 area at least this season. And if it had, just looking at that Hardy opportunity again, if the ball had just held up for Hardy, Frank would have stayed down because as that ball was played, he was in his own half. And under the rules, you can't be offside if you're in your own half. So Southampton playing a very dangerous line there. They don't want to be taking too many risks even at 0-0. They are the away side. It's Kessler Hayden now, or Kessler Hayden, I should say. Sometimes struggle with in my own writing, but it's nice to be back on TCF duty. To a couple of months away. Lovely to be back for another season of commentaries. And of course, it's a very great honour to be appointed the FA Cup chief commentator. And I look forward to fulfilling that role with great dignity when the Cup starts for real properly in November with the first round. Looking forward to that. But here in the Championship, it's league football all the way till then. Bit of Champions League, bit of Carabao Cup. Plenty to still keep us entertained until the FA Cup really comes into being a little bit later on in the season. Gibson gets it forward down the left-hand side, and it's been kept in very well by Mumba, but he's giving it away to Armstrong. And Che Adams round the corner. I'll tell her around the corner rather for Che Adams, but he couldn't have been found there. And Plymouth come away with the ball once again. Whose roll throw is it? I think it's a Plymouth one. Couldn't tell from where I was sitting there. Stephen Schumacher didn't have a distinguished playing career. Spent it mostly in the lower leagues, but mainly with Bradford City. And they side have won a quarter just now. With a quarter of an hour played here on TC Hub. Ryan Hardy winning that corner. Looking to add to the one goal he's already got this season. Remember that terrific 3-1 victory on opening day against Huddersfield Town. Can they add Southampton to their list of scouts? Corner came in, came out again. Ball put back in by Captain Edwards, but it's charged away. And now it's back with Kesler Hayden. And halfway, he was the last man back before the goalkeeper. He couldn't take any risks. Mumba now has drifted out to the right-hand side from his starting position on the left-hand flank. Looks like they've swapped flanks here, Plymouth. Or the wingers have swapped flanks anyway. And that's Bednarek out, and it's a corner. Or Plymouth are saying it's a corner, and the referee agrees. Bednarek may have gone down a little easily there for Southampton. Let's have a look here. He's under challenge here from Ryan Hardy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. The corner was taken quickly. Didn't come to much in the end, but Lewis Gibson has it now for Plymouth. Ball played out to Edwards, the skipper. Infield once again to Azaz, who's had the best half chance so far. It's not been a game that's ignited just yet as a thrilling end-to-end game, but I think there's a good game in the making here if both sides can really stick to their attacking principles. Both, as I say, going 4-3-3 in formation, so they're matching up to each other. It's always the case now when you see or you watch football games of football now. Obviously, the managers these days, they put a lot of preparation. If you watch behind the scenes documentaries, you can see how much work managers put in at all levels. May I add, not just a Premier League level. Ball played into the penalty area. Teller went for it, went down. Don't think there was going to be a penalty given in a month for Sundays, quite honestly. And the referee, Webb, was quite happy. I was quite prepared to play on at that point. And there's a bit of news coming in from Ross Byrne that Philip Coutinho could be moving to Qatar. Be a big blow for Aston Villa. They've drawn Hibernian in the Conference League playoffs. So a bit of an England-Scotland thing. They take as Southampton go for a goal here with their top scorer, Stuart Armstrong, but it's Adam Armstrong, I should say. And it's behind for a goal kick. 16 goals still, 0-0. But Aston Villa have drawn Hibernian of Scotland. And they played that first leg, of course, on Thursday night at Easter Road. With a return at Villa Park a week, some 8 days later. In fact, they play on the Wednesday, I'm told, rather than the Thursday. And then they play the next Thursday. Oh, what about that? That was a poor ball, and it's straight to Che Adams here. It's thankfully for Plymouth, it's held up in the corner of quadrant, and in the end, Gibson hooks it out for a throw-in. That could have been even more. That could have been a lot more trouble than what it was in the end for Plymouth Argyle. But it is a throw to Southampton right down by that right corner quadrant, almost in line with it. And it's going to be a throw for Walker Peters. Thought he might have launched it into the Plymouth area. Walker Peters again down by that near corner quadrant. Now what's he want here? Throw in? Oh, corner. Throw in it is. Stuart Armstrong let it go between his legs and then kept possession. And another throw. Walker Peters again to take it. Level into the edge of the Argyle 6-yard area. 18 played on all TCL platforms. It's Plymouth 0, Southampton 0. Don't forget our Twitter handle. Commentary Live 1 is the Twitter handle. If you want to follow us on Twitter. And if you want to follow me and Nicholas on Twitter, I'll tell you his Twitter handle as well, if he doesn't mind. Nick Life it's at Nick Life is School. That's Nicholas's Twitter handle. And mine is JB at JB Sports 11. Here's Hardy now for Plymouth inside the Southampton area. Paul back across, a real opportunity. Went begging in for Plymouth Argyle. I thought Hardy might have had the shot and tried to test Bazuna there, but well, that's a real opportunity wasted maybe for Plymouth Argyle. Maybe he should have gone across the keeper there towards the right-hand corner. And it was a big opportunity here for Hardy. Played the ball across. There were two green players, dark green shirted players coming forward. But it came to nothing in the end. And, well, there we go. I'll just remind you of the Twitter handles from myself and Nicholas. Nicholas's handle is at Nick Life is Cool. Yep, it's a cool Twitter handle, that one, I have to say. Life is cool sometimes. Offside against Hardy. Mike was struck straight away. And my Twitter handle is at JV Sports 11. So if you want to follow us both on Twitter, you're more than welcome to do so. Stephen Schumacher. As I said, he hasn't had a too much distinguished playing career. I remember him playing for Bradford in League Two for a few years. His playing career has basically been spent mainly in Leagues 1 and 2. This is the highest he's ever been in his footballing career, neither as a player or a manager. As Mumba makes a break down the left-hand side. Cuts inside now. Mumba will have the shot. Charged away by three Southampton defenders in white and teal. And it comes away once again. Walker, number 29 now, Kesler Hayden. I know he said Walker Peters. So many double barrel names in football these days. It's hard. It's really difficult. Oh, it's really easy, rather, to get them mixed up a little bit. As Hazard now kicks away down the field. One kick forward, but well, it's been a decent 20 minutes so far. I think the blue touch paper still yet to be looked as a spectacle, but it's not been a bad game by any stretch. It just needs one moment of genius. I mean, we certainly got that at the City Ground. If you're listening to JB Sports exclusive coverage last night of the Forest, the Nottingham Forest game, it was certainly a great game of football. You feel like it's two good football. Oh, Taylor's got in behind. The flag stayed down. Taylor inside the area, loses control. And then Walker Peters goes down. David Webb doesn't want to know. No penalty and no VAR. So if Southampton wanted to overturn it, they can't. Referee decision is final in the Championship. Mumba and Walker Peters are both down on their haunches. Both up on their feet. Now, let's see. It's Taylor there. And as you can see, well, let's have a look from the other angle. I'm just looking now. It goes through the back of him. I've got to say, it's in the bracket of sin and given. Gets none of the ball. Mumba. That's very clumsy. And David Webb probably, potentially, has missed one there. I think that's a Southampton penalty, in my humble opinion. As we're now coming up towards the halfway mark of the first half here on the TC Hub, JB Sports, Storm FM and TC Hub 2. Oh, the goalkeeper, Hazard, took it was half Hazard. It was half Hazard, really, from Hazard, if you pardon the pun. It really was. But he got away with it. It's, as I said, I think it's been a more cagey 22 and a half minutes that we've seen so far in this game. It's certainly been brilliant. And I'm just hearing that Everton are in talks with Che Adams. This could potentially be Che Adams' last game for Southampton, which would be a big blow to the promotion hopes. I'll just break off for a second because Plymouth have got an attack on here with Mumba now, just to the left of the D. Ball played in there towards number 10, Morgan Whittaker, who can't keep it in play, miscontrolled it, and it's gone for a Southampton ball. Goal kick to them, 23 gone, still 0-0 incidentally here, if you've just joined us. But I've just been hearing Russ, our mole, has just been he's not technically a mole, but he's our source. And I don't mean HP or Heinz ketchup. But Russ's sources have been telling us that Che Adams is in talks with Everton. Everton on the lookout for a new striker. Of course, they've got Calvert-Lewin out injured. And Neil Maupay, according to a lot of Everton supporters, most famous one being Elton Welsby. You may remember from the match many years ago. Certainly, I was brought up in the northwest of England, so I certainly know the name of Elton Welsby. Who doesn't up north? But sure, someone like Nicholas won't know who I'm talking about. But Elton Welsby was the presenter for Granada for many, many years up in the northwest of England. And he's a big Evertonian. And he's been one of the biggest critics of Neil Maupay. And he has said a lot of stronger words than can't hit a cow's backside with a banjo. But there we go. But Everton looking to pep up their attacking options. And Sean Dyche has identified Che Adams as a possible target. But here in the game at Home Park, Plymouth on the attack, but it breaks down right at the last seconds. Hardy trying to play the ball through, but then it couldn't be found. And now Southampton break at the other end with Che Adams. Adams breaks into the penalty area. Here he is now on the edge. It's a chance now for Teller. And Teller has put it straight at the goalkeeper, who was diving away down his near post. I don't think it was going in. Tried to guide it goalwards with his right foot, and he was stretching all the while. O'Doherty had made the break initially, then played it into Che Adams, and Teller, I think he was just going to drift wide of the post. But as you probably guessed, as had the goalkeeper, the professional he is, could not have been certain at that time and had to just take it safe. There's a corner, short to Teller. Look at the space Walker Peters has got on the edge of the area. Now then, a real opportunity now for Teller, who can hit shots from that sort of range. Chipped into the penalty area. Looking for number 5, which was Jack Stevens, the defender, who nodded it over from 6 yards. It goes over the top, and another Southampton attack comes to nothing, and Plymouth survive. But now, as a contest, the game is just starting at this moment in time to buck up a little bit. Big coffee down here on the south. Make too bad a brew down here in down south, even if it is a bit pricey. Maybe it's my northern prejudice coming to the fore, but it's a lovely place though, Plymouth, I've got to say. I've been here a couple of times. It's a lovely place to be. Is Mumba, and it's certainly the feeling I get from the city so far. The atmosphere in the city is a good one. Free kick against Nathan Teller. Just the one booking so far. That was to defender Dan Scarborough for Plymouth. That's another foul, so a free kick again, and it's Teller. That's two in about 30 seconds that Teller's committed. Because in a very frustrated figure out there. I don't know the reasons as to why. David Webb just saying, one more son and you are in the book. Him and Mumba are having a right battle royal there. That was the first part when he pushed him over. So I seemed surprised, but it looked clear cut to me. You can't fool the commentator, Nathan. 0-0. If you're listening to us here on the TC Hub, nice to have you with us. If you're listening likewise on JB Sports and Storm FM as well, and TC Hub too. Once again, it's nice to have you with us. We're also on Twitch as well. Don't forget, the bigger good afternoon to our Twitch listeners. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter when we're not off the air. We're always reporting the latest news. So I'm sure we'll have a live transfer deadline special. The last one turned out to be a very good one. For all sorts of different reasons. It's quite a fun deadline show that the lads put on last year. Hopefully, earlier this year. Hopefully, come end of this month, they'll put on another good one. For your watching pleasure. Last time out, it was Mike, Paul, Russ, and Luke in the starring roles. They really did spin out that show between them, and they did a really, really good job. Great broadcast from them. Exemplary. And a few follies thrown in for good measure. I won't mention the nerd Harry Potter too loudly. Sorry, Paul. 0-0 here. Remember, Paul's on your airways tonight. The brilliant Paul James, who has done a magnificent job, who's become a really good commentator in his own right. He's doing the Chelsea game tomorrow afternoon after Arne finished at Aston Villa. So he's got the late one for you. He's also presenting the late game today in the Premier League between Manchester City and Newcastle. A real marker to see how Eddie Howe's team shape up to Manchester City's team. They were completely ruthless at Burnley last week when they put 3 past my guys. And despite the fact Burnley actually played very well in the game. Burnley, incidentally, don't play today. That game against Luton has been called off for the time being because Luton haven't managed to bring their Kenilworth Road Stadium up to standards. Meanwhile, free kick to Plymouth and a yellow card for Stuart Armstrong. There are 2 Armstrongs in the Southampton 11 today. Let me remind you of the 2 benches while we've got a chance. Half an hour play, still 0-0. So it's Burton, Guezzero, Butcher, Wright, Miller, Warrington, Wright, Randall and Wayne. For Plymouth, for Southampton, Lumley, Bree, Perro, Kango, Doyle, Haribo, Ame, Amara and Ballard for Southampton. Again, struggling with the double-barreled names. 31 gone. 0-0. Game just starting to come to the boil ever so slightly now. But thus far, nothing to indicate what might happen here. A very busy 48 hours for the TC Hub and all platforms today and tomorrow. Offside against Che Adams. Free kick to Plymouth. Usually by now in my commentary games, we've always had a goal. Maybe they'll all come in the second half. Who knows? The last 0-0 I can remember doing for the TC Hub, you'd have to go back to December 2021. Burnley 0, West Ham 0 at Turf Moor. That was the last time I had a live 0-0 on any TC Hub platform. I hope it isn't going to be 0-0 today. Plymouth easily could have won down at Watford last week. They had 3 opportunities to pounce on mistakes by Daniel Backman in the Watford goal last week, but he couldn't take any of their chances. Just a reminder that the incentive for one of these 2 teams, whoever wins, can go top for a couple of hours at least this afternoon. Plymouth have both teams have 4 points. Plymouth have a better goal difference. They're lying 4th at the start of play. And Southampton lying 6th. So they're both in the playoff zone at the moment at the start of play. If Plymouth win, they go top. If Southampton win, they go top. That's the incentive now. Here's a chance for Plymouth inside the penalty area for Kessler Hayden, and he wins a corner. Good move down the left-hand side, involved in Rumba again, who's had a lot of things to say for himself in this opening half an hour or so. Inside the last quarter hour of the first half, incidentally, plus any injury and stoppage time, which could be anything now this season. So another corner then for the Argyle. Into the area it goes. It's a deep and floated corner. Very good. And Edwards now picks it up on the far side up against Teller. Edwards trying to shield the ball from Teller on the far side and does really well. Or I thought he did. I thought that came off Nathan Teller last. I must admit, the linesman, Nigel Luke, disagrees. And it's a goal kick. Southampton fans away to my left-hand side here at home park. And if we get a breaking play, I want to tell a little story about when Pele visited home park back in 1974. And it's a good story to tell as well. So as soon as we get a very big breaking play, I'll tell you all about that. But here in the modern day, it's Southampton on the attack and no penalty. Edwards just stood his ground there, to be honest with you. And Samuel Edozie still on his haunches there. David Webbs has had to stop it at this point. Well, I have to say, again, that's in the bracket of sin and given. Not like a push to me, but penalty not given. Well, whilst we've got a breaking play, let me tell you about this Pele story, and it is a true story. It was a friendly game back in 1974. Pele, by then, was seeing out his career with Santos of Brazil, and Plymouth invited him down to play against them here at home park. And if you don't believe me, you can find it on YouTube. There's film footage of it from the archives of ITV. But yeah, Plymouth actually won the game 3-2. Pele did score in the game, and there must have been about 40,000 on that night, all the way back in 1974. There you are, nice little story. Pele did actually play here at home park once upon a time. 10 minutes to half time here in the present day. Plymouth Argyle 0, Southampton 0. Both, either one of these two teams with a win can go top of the championship. So a terrific incentive here down in Cornwall today. And we've had one shot on target for Plymouth, 2 for Southampton. It's been sort of test each other out time, really, this first 35 minutes. So let's hope the last 10 minutes can provide some good entertainment. Che Adams is inside the penalty area. Nice little backfield, but what a good interception there by Lewis Gibson. And now here come Plymouth Argyle with Luke Cundall now charging through the centre of the field. He's well over halfway, deep inside Southampton territory. He might open up for the shot. Cundall does try the shot. It hits the defender there, Stevens. It was a good block by Jack Stevens. May have hit him in his midriff. It's a free kick now. Foul there by number 23, Samuel Edozie. One of the new faces at St Mary's this season. What a good break though that from Luke Cundall. He looks a good player, does Luke Cundall. I have to say, I've been very impressed by him, and I've also been very impressed with a Plymouth point. With Mumba, who's looked very lively on that left-hand attacking flank. He looks a player and a half. Those are my impressions, of course, and I've got to choose a player of the match. And of course, this season, the player of the match, as been the previous 2 seasons that we've been running this commentary hub, is currently sponsored by Barry Swain's Commentary Services. And we thank Barry for his constant support of the Player of the Match award on the TC Hub again for this season. Thank you, Barry, if you're listening. 0-0 here. JB, John Stuttard, your match commentator. Don't forget, we've got Nicholas Jones with the halftime show. There's quite a big divot there in the centre of the park there, I'm just seeing. Players will have to be watching themselves, certainly with a footwear. There's 1 or 2 divots all over a little bit over the pitch. Don't worry, there hasn't been any moles in the pitch. It's just players sliding in. Have they got the right studs on for the conditions? It looks a good pitch, actually, despite 1 or 2 of the divots there, which Walker Peters would do well to avoid. Right down below me. Here he is now on the ball. It's been a very good first half. Stevens gets it's Ryan Manning away on this far side. Back to Stevens again. Here's Jan Bednarek, a real Southampton stalwart. He's been at the club at least 6 or 7 years now. Here's Adams trying to thread it through to Stuart Armstrong. And to Adam Armstrong as well. Ball threaded back there to Connor Hazard, who kicks away down the field. Now then, the opportunity now, Hardy on the chase, but the ball through towards him was way over hit. And it was straight into the arms of Gavin Bazunu. So at the moment, it looks like a point apiece from this one. And the first half really hasn't lit the blue touch paper as we hoped it would be here down in the West Country today. 6 minutes plus any injury or stoppage time play here at Home Park in this first half. Still no goals. Chances, to be fair, have been probably at the best chance I would wager really was Nathan Teller. But even then, that effort was drifting wide, although the goalkeeper wasn't to know. As Adam Armstrong tries to break inside the penalty area, but again can't be found now. A chance here now for Azaz to really get Plymouth on their way here. Plenty of support left and right as well. Inside the penalty area they go. Paul pulled back, and it was a good run there down that far side by Morgan Whittaker, which caused one or two troubles. And behind for a corner to Plymouth Argyle. The Pilgrims now standing a knock on the door. As they attack the Bond timber stand away to my left-hand side. Not where it's not full of timber. Not built of timber, it's built of 100% concrete. The ball comes into the penalty area. Easy save there for the goalkeeper from the header at the back post. So 5 minutes to play of the first period. Still no breakthrough in the terms of the scoreline, but plenty of endeavour and plenty of good action, but nothing to excite at the moment. Here's Stuart Armstrong from Teller's pass, and they've got a corner out of it, Southampton. Conceded by Joe Edwards, the captain of Plymouth. Number 8 he wears. Wonderful atmosphere here, as it always is. A sea of green and a bit of red and white away to my left as well. One of the most colourful stadiums. You'd have to put it up there with the likes of Carrow Road in terms of colour and all that sort of thing. So corner down the right-hand side of the ground to Southampton, who will attack their own fans in the second half. Playing from right to left, remember. Here comes the corner, in from the right-hand side. Header one, and I think there was a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Referee Webb wasn't interested in it. What's he giving here? Yellow card has been given to one of the Southampton players. I think there was a little bit of pushing and shoving going on there. Handball it was. I think it was a Dozy trying to do a Maradona and punch the ball in the back of the net. Good spot that from David Webb. And I think that's a very, very good decision. In fact, it was Shea Charles rather than Edozie who got the puck in. Shea Charles trying to do his best impression of Diego Maradona of 86. And that incident really sums up the frustration of this first half in an attacking sense. I mean, it's been good football. I mean, it's been good build-up play from both sides, but it's just, I mean, they're just like the cutting edge both sides up front, really. And you look at the talent that's on view from both sides today. Even Plymouth's team is I mean, you've got sharp shooters like Wayne and Kundal and Hardy, and I mean, they've got Kundal on the bench actually, so we're doing him a bit of disservice. Anyway, here comes Kundal now. That's a very poor ball from Kundal. And Mumba was never going to reach that. Never in a month of Sundays is going to reach that. And it sums up the frustration of the first half. He picked the pass and he played it about 10 yards behind Mumba. He knew full well how frustrated and disappointed he actually was with that. And that has been the frustration. The build-up play has been there from both sides, certainly in the midfield area. It's been that end product from both sides that's lacked in this first 43 minutes. Now then, Aziz, can he provide something here? Aziz does well. Now Mumba's inside the area. Real opportunity now for Hardy. He tries to turn inside the penalty area, but again, good defending from Southampton. It really has been in this first half a combination of good Southampton or Plymouth defending, and a lack of cutting edge from both attacks inside the penalty area. And it just hasn't dropped to anybody, really. It was Luke Cundle, in fact, who tried to turn. I do apologise if I get one or two of these Plymouth players mixed up. It's been two and a half years since I've covered a Plymouth Argyle game. The first one I've covered for the TCF for a long time, but so I'm bound to be a bit ring rusty. And of course, the Plymouth teams have much changed. One from the one I covered in the Cup against Sheffield United a couple of years back. Back in those days, the last time I covered them, football was played behind closed doors because of the COVID lockdowns. Wait till the last minute of the first half. And a Ram jam-packed home park, which really has seen some very good football, pretty football play from both Plymouth and Southampton without really seeing a good end product in the final third from both sides. And that's been the frustration, really, to take out of this first half if you're gonna be negative about it. I have to say, defenders have really been on top, and I think both teams in a lot of ways. I think matching 4-3-3 has caught one or the other out. Actually, they cancelled each other out. That was what I was trying to say. So we're going to get Tom Neal now to hold up the board, and we'll get an indication of how long we're going to have. Just the 2 minutes at the end of the first half. I went to the first of those now with number 24, Shea Charles, who's just been booked for doing his very good impression of Diego Maradona trying to punch the ball in the back of the net. So that's what it is now. Ball play forward. Was he onside? They're coming together inside the penalty area. David Webb says, get up. Scar was one of the players involved. And I'm guessing Che Adams was the other. Maybe possibility that they may have been offside anyway. I think it was a Dozy, in fact, rather than Che Adams. And if there was any contact, it started outside anyway. Looking at the replay. Played nearly a minute of the two at the end of this first half, which really hasn't been able to come to the surface now. But 1 minute moment of genius could really light this game up. Can Plymouth provide it? Shot comes in. Another shot there from Hayden that hits his own player, in fact. Hayden, to his credit, has kept it in on the left-hand side. Kesler Hayden turns inside. Kesler Hayden with a shot and just over the top of the crossbar. Terrific effort from Hayden. He said he got a deflection. I don't think the referee agrees, but this is what we wanted to see all game. Somebody prepared to take the game by the scruff of the neck, take responsibility, have a go, even from outside the area. And it almost came to fruition there for Plymouth Argyle. Still 0-0 here. Both teams with a win. One of them with a win could go top of the championship. At least for a good couple of hours at least, if other results don't go for them. Coming up to the end of the 2 minutes, and I should say it is a minimum off, so referee David Webb, if he wants to add on a little bit extra at the end, can do, but I don't think he's only going to play 3 extra seconds over, so there we go. Well, I have to say, the first 45 minutes, we've seen quite pretty football from both teams, but again, lacking a real end product. And that's really been the theme and the frustration of this first half here at Home Park. Still, I think there's a lot to come from both the Saints and the Pilgrims here in this second half. It has to get better, doesn't it? Half time here at Home Park as we go back to the studio and to Nicholas Jones. It's Plymouth Argyle 0, Southampton 0.
Thanks, JB. Like you said, was an intense first half. It was bit cagey in some places, but Kane Kesler Hayden so close to scoring, and back in the squad after missing the last match against Watford with a foot injury. Not bad, eh? I was hoping to ask JB that question, but Southampton came on pretty strong, just over halfway. just over half distance. Unlucky to have a penalty. Unlucky to have a penalty decision ruled out against them. But I think this could well be the precursor to what we hope will be a more action-packed second half. Stay with us. We're going to go for a break. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's alternative audio coverage of Plymouth Argyle against Southampton at home park. What an intense and action-packed first half that was. So before we go into more detail of that, just a quick reminder of what's coming up later on the TC Hub. Starting with Manchester City against Newcastle United in the Premier League. Russ Vernon presenting with Paul James will be presenting that one with Russ Vernon in the hot seats. Then the big one tomorrow, Spain against England in the Women's World Cup final with myself on commentary. Then later on in the day we have two Premier League matches with Aston Villa against Everton, as mentioned by JB, and then West Ham United against Chelsea with Paul James and Mike Harneman. That first half, Plymouth started the side the stronger, but Southampton gradually caught up, and then it got to the point where there was nothing to choose between them. We're just waiting for JB to come back on. And
yes, I'm back.
Okay, so that first half just saw the teams coming out. We're just about getting ready for the start of the second half. So let's cross back over to John JB Stutter at home park.
Thanks very much, Nicholas. Welcome back to the West Country. It's still 0-0. If you've just joined us, it hasn't been a classic by any means. We've seen some pretty football played, as I say, in the midfield areas, but nothing really to write home about. Let's hope the second half really excites more than the first half did. No changes from either side. As I talk to you here, referee David Webb from County Durham, just checking that everybody is present and correct. And we're back on the way. Plymouth kicking off now. We're taking the goal to my right in the second half. Southampton to the left, where all their supporters are based. And it's the nearest team to Plymouth on the map in the Championship. So it's sort of a derby in a way, but Southampton have had to travel something like 80 to 90 miles to come down here to the West Country. Plymouth certainly the pride of West Country football now. Only one team from that part of the world, and that was Swindon Town, have ever tasted top flight football. Out of all the West Country sides, neither in Wiltshire, Somerset, Devon and all that lot, as the ball comes into the penalty area and the cross comes in and a corner kick has been given. Turned away by Hazard at the start. It was a good break from Southampton involving Edozie here. Ball played across. Teller coming at it on the back post. They've taken the corner quickly, Southampton. Ball knocked in there. Che Adams chases, and it will go off for a corner kick. As I say, since the Premier League has reconvened, only one West Country team have ever made it, and that was Swindon Town. Bristol City were in the, before people saying that Bristol City were in the top flight, you have to go back to 1980 when it was the first division. Bristol City made it last minute to the top division. Stuart Armstrong with a corner from the near side for Southampton towards the near post, headed out. Throw into Southampton, almost level with the 18-yard line of Plymouth on the left-hand side. The near side as I look. Armstrong with a crossing upon the left-hand side, headed away by Plymouth. That's all we kept in there. And the ball back to Gavin Bazunu. So just remind you of the 2-11s. Plymouth with Hazard, Mumba, Horton, Scar, Edwards, Hardy, Whittaker, Gibson, Azaz, Kundal and Kesler Hayden. I'll give you the Southampton team in just a second because they're on the break here with Edozie. Cutting in from the left-hand side. Edozie with a shot. Oh, he just curls wide at the far post of Connor Hazard. And that's the best we've seen from Southampton as an attacking force. That was very good running from Edozie. Much more positive, I have to say, from the Saints at the start of this second half. Good right-footed curler just didn't curl in enough and just wide of the far post of Hazard. You will be very relieved to see that one go wide of the target. Still 0-0. Plymouth have possession. The ball forward again. Cut out there by Stevens. Now Teller has it on the far side. Nathan Teller. Tracked by two Plymouth defenders, and it's a free kick to Southampton, who line up with Basuna in goal, Walker-Peters, Stevens, Bednarek, Manning, Charles, Armstrong, Teller, Adozi, Armstrong, and Che Adams. There, 11. I'll run you through the two benches as soon as I get a break in play. We just only had enough time to bring you that Southampton 11. This is Jack Stevens now, the Southampton's captain. Plays it in there to number 9, Adam Armstrong. Armstrong, and now Walker-Peters to Teller. Left-hand side, right-hand side, I should say. Infield to Armstrong. That's Stuart Armstrong. Now to his namesake, Adam Armstrong. Stevens has possession. Still 0-0 here. Ball played into the penalty area. And it's hooked away once more. Don't forget, we're on these platforms. TC Hub 2, JB Sports and Storm FM. And we're also live on the Commentary Hub Twitch channel as well. This is Adam Armstrong, the top scorer with 3 this season. Knocks the ball across the face. And a shot comes in. A brilliant goal! A brilliant goal from Nathan Teller with his right foot. And the straight lock has been broken at home park. It's Nathan Teller. 4 minutes gone in the second half. I make it. And Nathan Teller sends the 2,500 Southampton travelling supporters away to my left into absolute raptures. A marvellous goal. Plymouth really didn't clear their lines. They were very slack in the marking. 49 minutes gone. Nathan Teller with the left foot beyond the dive of Connor Hazard. He shot just to the right of centre, and it was a wonderful finish. Edge of the box, good effort, and just inside that left-hand post, right in the left corner, and the goalkeeper wasn't getting anywhere near that. It's a lovely goal from Nathan Teller. And maybe that's putting Burnley off a little bit now. They're putting the price tag up a little bit now on that one, I'm afraid. Showed his qualities in the Championship in a Burnley shirt last season, and he's showed his qualities in the Championship in a Southampton one this season. That's his first goal of the season. And they're not going to take that one away from him. He thought he got it on opening day when he thought he scored at Hillsborough, but he didn't. It was not to be, as Whittaker comes forward. Oh, it's an equaliser! 2 goals in a minute! This is turning into some second half now! If the first half was bad, the second half's got even better! Southampton have committed the old sin of being vulnerable when you've just scored a goal. The cross came in down the left-hand side for Whittaker, and Hardy came steering in at the near post and drove it in past Bazunu. And all of a sudden, within 90 seconds, it's turned from 0-0 to 1-0 Southampton to 1-1. And what a run by Morgan Whittaker down the left-hand side. He drove and drove, a good cross in there, and Hardy gambled and hit the jackpot and won the star prize. It's 1-1 at home park. And if the first half had no end product, the second half, you can't say that it hasn't had an end product now, because both teams have got more positive in their attacking. And look at the rewards. 1-1. So Hardy gets his second goal of the season. 2 minutes between the two goals. And a game that really seemed to be dead in the water as far as attacking, as the final third was concerned, is well and truly alive. Now we've got a dozy at the other end, and Southampton looking to score again. What a great passage of play. Teller scores at one end, Hardy scores the other. This is turning into a great match. And how many times have we said you never see really a good first half, but then you get a much better second half, and then yet again it proves they all vanished, didn't it? And how much Russell Wright be feeling? He was cock a hoop about 90 seconds ago, but his team have committed the old cardinal sin of being vulnerable when you've just scored. They was too busy still celebrating, and then obviously that run by Morgan Whittaker was inspired, and they allowed Hardy to get in amongst them and stick it in from 5 yards out, and it's all of a sudden 1-1, and it's a Plymouth free kick taken by goalkeeper Hazard on the far side. What a start to the second half we've had here at Home Park. Oh, the ball just getting back to Gavin Basunu there. Well, if the first half lacked imagination in the final third, we certainly can't say that hasn't happened in the second, because it has now. Plenty of imagination and plenty of endeavour, and both teams a lot more positive in their attacking play, which in fairness is good to see. Oh, and Plymouth might get in there. That's surely... No, they wanted a free kick. The referee wasn't interested in any case. I think he was right. I think David Webb, the referee. Well, it's certainly been a remarkable game for all sorts of different reasons. The Championship never fails to surprise one. And I've been commentating now for 7 years across 2 different YouTube channels and platforms on these live commentaries, but either my own channel or for the TC Hub. And I've got to be honest, I think you watch the Championship every week, and yet nothing ever seems to amaze one. There's always a surprise or two. There's always a surprise element in there. There's always a moment where you don't really expect it to happen. And football has, certainly in the Football League, it has that real knack of being crazy at times. This is why we love football. It's a crazy game, but it's a fantastic game. We've certainly seen it now. Oh, and Armstrong nearly darting in behind there. And now here's Whittaker to bring it away. Now then, Plymouth have got their tails up all of a sudden. And here goes number 28 on the break, Kundal. Just muscled out of it there by Adozi there. Used his muscle now. Walker Peters, he's got Teller on the elbow up on the right-hand side. Will he use Teller? He will use Teller. Teller with a first-time cross, deflected. Another corner, this time for Southampton. It's end-to-end stuff now. If the first half was a bit tentative, the second half is far more open and has made for a much better start. 55 gone, 10 minutes gone in the second half. A second half that's, in the first 10 minutes alone, has had everything you could possibly want. 2 goals within 90 seconds and lots of attacking throws and spells already. And there's still another 35 minutes of this to go. Maybe they will keep the pace up after all. A gamut of emotions already in the first 10 minutes between the two sets of supporters. It's there for all to see. Southampton corner towards the near post. It's flicked on. Headed away from the 6-yard box by a Plymouth defender. Walker Peters picks it up on the right-hand side. Again, the crossing up on the right-hand side. And the goalkeeper was almost caught there. And it was a good job that he kept his eye on the ball there. Stevens had gone in there and he almost fooled the keeper, and he had to turn it away. Well, I don't think it's going to be the end of the scoring somehow. The second half has just been unbelievable. Here's Stuart Armstrong with the corner from the left-hand side towards the far post, and header one, but it's straight into the arms of Connor Hazard. He must be the most relieved man at Home Park right now. I'll tell you what, I've got to choose a player of the match as well later on. I'm sure there's no shortage of good candidates out there. We'll have to see what happens now. There's Southampton, 2 players have gone down, one from each side. One of them is the number 2 there for Plymouth, and the other one is Walker Peters. Okay, a second, I will give you the 2 benches at the moment. No substitutes being used, and then, Plymouth have got on their bench Wayne, who's the top scorer, or is the the joint top scorer now, because obviously Hardy has equalised, and that's his 2nd goal of the season. So, and here he goes on the chase again. Hardy might get there before the keeper brings him down. Sure, upon a penalty. It has to be a penalty for Plymouth. It has to be, but he's booked. He's booked. how is it? Well, I think Hardy was brought down. I thought the goalkeeper brought him down. I think that's a clear-cut penalty. He's booked Hardy for diving. I have to say, from the naked eye, from the first angle I saw it from, I thought this was a screwed-on penalty. I think he's took him out. I think he's took him out here. I think that's a penalty. Unless he's offside as the ball's played. He's onside for me as that ball's played. Now, did the goalkeeper take him out? For my money, I thought he did. I thought that from the first angle, well, obviously David Webb sees it from a different view to how I see it. Of course, let us know in the comments below whether you thought on the comments on the live chat respectfully whether that was a penalty or not. From my first, my initial reaction was penalty. Let's have a look now. Slowed it down. I think there's contact there. But again, it's in the bracket of sin and given. But I think a yellow card was a bit of an overreaction from the referee, I must admit. I don't think it was a dive. Not by a long way. Never in a million years was Hardy looking for that. There was definitely contact there. I think the referee possibly, in my opinion, got that one completely and utterly wrong. But that's just my opinion. But it's his opinion, David Webb's, that counts the most, and he felt it was a dive. And under the laws, an instant yellow card. But I thought that was a bit of an overreaction because it didn't look a dive from my angle. And from the first angle I saw it from, I thought it was a penalty. And I'll still stick by that belief that was a penalty. But we've had everything in this opening quarter of an hour, this second half. 2 goals, controversy, we've had everything. Here's Edozie now breaking into the penalty area. Adam Armstrong, edge in the area, turns away. The ball laid back now to Adam Armstrong. Oh, it's off the bar from Stuart Armstrong and over the top. It must have got a deflection. I think the referee's saying corner. It was Stuart Armstrong who had the shot from the edge of the area, dead central as well. The goalkeeper, did he get a glove on this? Well, it must have been the faintest of gloves if he's going to give a corner, unless he got a deflection. I'm not sure he got a deflection at all. That's really rattled the crossbar. I think, by the looks of things, I think he has given a goal kick. There's going to be a substitution now on the hour mark. Plymouth, I think, need to get the best legs out there on the field. And Cundall is off and Callum Wright is on. So the first substitution, the first joker played by Stephen Schumacher. So in this opening 15 minutes alone, it was a goal kick in the end, incidentally. So in the first 15 minutes alone, we've seen 2 goals, a controversial penalty that wasn't given. Looked a penalty, a yellow card for simulation, and Southampton have hit the bar. Plenty packed into this opening quarter of an hour, and still of the second half, and still more to come, I fancy now. As Kessler Hayden comes forward. Now, Edwards plays it outside. Now the first touch now to see what Wright can do. Shot comes in from Edwards, charged away. I tell you what, it's end-to-end stuff. It doesn't look as if we're watching a championship game. We're looking as if it's like watching an FA Cup tie. This end-to-end stuff played from one end of the field to the other. Horton has been fouled, or Horton has been penalised. Free kick to Southampton on the far side. Southampton yet to make a change, incidentally. And the previous 92 matches between the two sides, Plymouth actually have the upper hand and all-time head-to-heads in any competition, league or cup. They've played 92 times over the years. They've won 34 games, Southampton 32, and 26 of them are being drawn. At the moment, we're looking towards draw number 27. If it stays the same here, I've got a funny feeling it won't stay the same here. I think there's plenty more to come in this second half. But my run of no goalless draw since 2021 December rolls on. And a proud record at that to be kept up. I always pick games with goals in it. And in my time at the TCO, in my 2 years here, I've been very, very fortunate with the games I've had. There's always been There's always been at least one goal in every game since then. And that was the 0-0, ironically, at Burnley, of course. Well, the bandwagon rolls on. Let's hope Aston Villa and Everton, which I'm covering tomorrow at Villa Park, will provide terrific entertainment. Everton created umpteen chances in their first match last week at Goodison Park against Fulham and came out the wrong side of the result. Free kick given to Plymouth. Mumba fouled. He's had a bit of a mixed bag as Mr. Webb from County Durham. As I say, he's travelled a long way today, our referee. Must be a 900-mile round trip from Durham down to Plymouth and then back again. I hope he's flying back from Plymouth to Newcastle Airport. I wouldn't want to make the trip in a car or by bus. It'd be a long, long way, or even by train. You'd be absolutely knackered by then. Stevens has it now 10 yards inside the Plymouth half of the field. You've just joined us live on TC Hub. Where have you been for this last sort of 63 minutes? Fair enough, the first half was a poor showing in the final third, but the first almost 20 minutes of the second half, it's been anything but that. It's been end to end. We've had a goal ace. Southampton have hit the bar. Now they've a chance again through Adozi, who hits a right-footed shot, deflects away for a corner to Southampton. Tries to cut in from the left-hand side and tries to twist in Edwards in and out and hit the defender, which was Jordan Horton. So a corner kick, which Stuart Armstrong was going to take. He was the man who hit the bar. In towards the area this time. Oh, it went all the way through. This reminds you of the goal scorers. Nathan Teller broke it up with a terrific goal from outside the penalty area, right-footed. Just to the right of D. Left-footed, rather, just to the right of D to give Southampton a lead. But then some 60 seconds later, it was cancelled out by a wonderful run down the right-hand side by Morgan Whittaker, number 10. And Ryan Hardy poached a sink stick from 6 yards at the near post. Pounced in to whack it past Bazunu to make it 1-1. And he's claimed his second goal of the season. Teller's goal, that was his first goal of the season. He thought he got one at Hillsborough, but Shay Adams took it away from him, thanks to the Juvia's Goals Committee a fortnight ago at Hillsborough. Anyway, Southampton 3 kick from the right-hand side. Header one. That should be the goalkeeper's. Dear me, the ball's in the back of the net. The goal's not going to stand from Shay Adams. He was away with celebration, but I knew straight away that David Webb, I looked very hard at the referee. He knew full well he was going to give that. And also, I think there was an offside possibly there. That's a foul on the goalkeeper. There's no doubt about that. A bit rough and ready there, Che Adams. Went in with his arm, and the goalkeeper Hazard had both hands on the ball. So Mr. Webb, in that aspect, was absolutely 100% correct with that decision. Good decision from the referee. Here comes Nathan Teller now, but the flag is up for offside. It's just starting to get a little bit scrappy now as we approach the halfway mark of what's been a much more improved second half. A really good game of football that we've really seen come to the surface here. Plymouth 1, Southampton 1. 21 minutes of the second half play. And what a 21 minutes it has been. Here's number 6 now, Dan Scarr, getting it forward. And they're trying to get it away from their own penalty area. They were struggling a little bit there, Plymouth, to do that. And that's a good ball from Horton. But the ball's been lost again. And here's Stuart Armstrong picking it up for Southampton. Feeds Nathan Teller on the right-hand side. We're approaching the 67th minute here at Owen Park. And here's Armstrong, Adam Armstrong, trying to get on the end of that, but just too much venom on the through ball. So 67 minutes gone. We're halfway through the second half here at Home Park on the TC Hub and all platforms. Plymouth Argyle 1, Southampton 1. Good game now. Good second half this. We're really enjoying this. And we've got We've got a player down, stricken, injured at the moment. Still no 1-1 if you've just joined us. It allows the players now to take a break and stuff. And all that. So there's the drinks and stuff. And apologies there for the and all that. So we're just waiting for the drinks at the moment. So still 1-1. And we see the goals again. So still 1-1 as Miller now comes on. As Miller comes on for Kessler Hayden. As they're making changes now, left, right, and centre. Here, Plymouth Argyle, still 1-1. It's been a great game of football. Very enjoyable. Long ball over the top. And it's over the top here, and the ball knocked back once again. Still 1-1 in the score here as we go into the last 20 minutes, plus any injury and stoppage time. Ball knocked across once more. And still the ball coming away again. The ball threaded out towards the far side. And here's the ball played back again. And still it remains 1-1. And the ball now knocked back once again. And now here goes Adozie now on the ball. Adozie making a good break. And here's Armstrong. Armstrong back across the face. And it's wide of the target in the end. And it will be a goal kick to Plymouth Argyle. Still, it remains 1-1 as we now go into the final 20 minutes. Plymouth 1, Southampton 1. Number has been penalised. I do apologise if the crowd noises keep going off, but we will stay with you till the end now. We're inside the last 20 minutes here at Home Park. Southampton drawing 1-1 with Plymouth Argyle here in the Championship. What does Stephen Schumacher do here? Took over for Ryan Law. Was an assistant to Ryan Law here a couple of years ago. And then Ryan Law up sticks and went to Preston North End. Could be a white hot atmosphere when Preston visit here later on in the season. And the ball now threaded back to Connor Hazard, who's had a decent game. Game's just slightly come down a little bit in pace. It's been a good match. It's been a good watch. Been a really interesting match so far. And now the ball knocked away and out of play. It will be a throw. And still it remains 1-1. And it's a throw into Southampton. Still Southampton looking to score a second goal here. Still, it remains 1-1 here as we go into the last stages. And a chance now for Armstrong, but a good challenge there. And the ball hoisted away once more. Still, it remains 1-1. Now Hardy brings it away. And now it will break to Mumba. Mumba gets it down the line. And still, it remains 1-1. And I do apologise. It remains 1-1. There's a foul there by Manning. It's a free kick as we now go towards the final quarter hour. Yellow card for Ryan Manning, the former NK Dons man. That's a foul there on Whittaker. So that's another player in the book. And who's going to win this at the end now? And we're going to see the end for Southampton of, looks like a Dozy is coming off. Intensifies here. So a Dozy off and Amiao is now on. As we now go into the closing stages of this second half. So we're now a quarter of an hour plus injury time away from knowing who's going to win this game. Ball threaded through to the penalty area. Now Hardy inside the area. Hardy shoots. And Hardy shoots wide off the target. That's a goal kick to Plymouth. Goal kick to Southampton rather. But Plymouth now turning up the screw. Remember last night it was evenly poised between Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United in the Premier League. And we had a late show there. Will we get a similar outcome this afternoon, I wonder? It's had a play from the throw. So still it remains 1-1. Final quarter of an hour. Looks like a point apiece. A swing stand here at Home Park with about 12 shots to 8 in Plymouth's favour. So they've just shaded it on target. Southampton lead that 4-2, but the scoreline remains 1-1. And that's the most important statistic of the lot. Forget about possession and shots at goal and stuff. At the moment, it looks as if being a point apiece as Southampton look to break inside the penalty area. Again, it was well tracked. Here's Teller again to Armstrong. Teller's now gone to the left-hand channel. Stevens getting out towards the far side. Plymouth looking for a way through here at this moment in time. Chip forward again. And there's a Southampton player gone down there, but I think that would have been rather harsh to give it against Miller. Walker Peters going down the blind alley there, but going bumping into Miller there, and I don't think it was going to be a penalty in a month of Sundays. Or even Saturdays for that matter. 1-1. Still 13 minutes plus injury and stoppage time to play. And the ball out of play. Just to remind you, tonight with Paul James, who's in the presenter's chair. He'll be bringing you live commentary of Manchester City against Newcastle United from the Etihad Stadium. Alternate commentary as the green blue is popped by the referee. Russ Vernon will be your man in the commentary box for that one. And then the Women's World Cup final. I haven't mentioned it was during the second half because it's been such a good second half, hasn't it? Anyway, wait a minute. Here is a chance now for Southampton. Shot comes in. It comes back to Adam Armstrong, who strikes it, and it's deflected out. And it comes away to safety. For Plymouth Argyle at least. The Women's World Cup final with Nicholas Jones. Kick-off 11 o'clock UK time. Can England win the Women's World Cup for the very first time? And the first World Cup from any senior England team since 1966. Well, you'll be able to find out in the company of our lucky England women's mascot, Nicholas Jones, who'll bring you full match commentary of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup final. England against Spain, incidentally, the two teams involved, as well as that ball comes in and Che Adams looked as if he was a mile offside, but heads over the top of the crossbar. In fact, he was offside. It's a good decision by the linesman, as it turned out. Teller with a lovely little crossing, as you can see there, or as I can see there. Che Adams had just started a half a yard offside. Now, there's going to be a triple substitution here from Plymouth Argyle. Wayne is going to come on, the joint top scorer now with 2 goals. Scored a brace in that victory over Huddersfield. Hardy has gone off. We've got the equaliser. Jordan Horton is off and Lewis Warrington is now on. So Warrington on. And the other substitution. It's as follows. Ben Wayne is on for Ryan Hardy. We knew about that one. Still waiting on the confirmation of the third change. But as that's off, Adam Randall on. So there, all the confirmation of all 3 Plymouth Argyle changes. We're inside the last 10, almost inside the last 10 minutes here now. Played 80 minutes. And with great certainty, I have to say the second half has been a much better entertaining affair than the first half was. So that, as soon as we're finished in the Women's World Cup final, we're down to Villa Park. And we may now, if it goes to extra time, we may well go to split frequencies. So you may well hear the football elsewhere on other TCO frequencies. We'll let you know how that pans out, how we'll rock and roll with that one. Certainly our main event tomorrow morning will be the Women's World Cup final. So now 1-1. That looked a foul there. Indeed it was. Free kick. Foul given against Wayne there. The new man that's just come onto the field for Plymouth Argyle. Marched over. Number 24 there. Charles. A free kick. I think from 35 yards from goal. Bednarek having a word or two to say to David Webb. Well, it's been an interesting second half. It's really been enjoyable. It's been wholesome. It's been full of incident. It's everything you could possibly want. The first half lacked adventure. You can't accuse the second half of being just the same. 1-1. And still plenty to come out, I feel, in this last 10 minutes. Che Adams inside the penalty area. Has to turn back. At the moment, neither side are going top of the tray. Here's Walker Peters. There might be something now for Che Adams inside the penalty area. He heads it high and onto the roof of the net. A goal kick given. Nice sort of cross with Kyle Walker Peters, but I think in the end, a little deflection on Gibson. It comes off Gibson's head and then onto Che Adams' head. That's why the ball ends up on the roof of the net rather than in the back of it. Stuart Armstrong had a decent game. Hit the bar. And Joe Aribo comes on. I've got about 6 minutes to try and pick a player of the match from these two sides. Not to really tell really, because both teams in a lot of essence have cancelled each other out. There's been some lovely play from one or two individuals, but the disappointment for me has been the final product, certainly in the first half of that of the final third, and that's what is making the decision a very hard one. And the mistakes are plenty, and a free kick going against Plymouth there. To the dismay of their fans, it was against Warrington. And now there's a foul on Nathan Teller. I think he's been one of the better players. I have to say Mumba's looked good for Plymouth as well. That's just two of the candidates I've just mentioned there. Teller is he's a little bit injured as well. Hopefully he'll be all right to carry on. 83.5 minutes gone. It was the right ankle. He's grimacing with some amount of pain there. So still on his haunches. Looks as if he's going to be helped off the field. He's hobbling. At least he's standing up and walking. Or in this case, hobbling off. The game here still to be won. At this moment in time, it looks like a point apiece. So Southampton for the moment anyway, down to 10 men. Adam Armstrong over this set piece. So to his right, Manning number 3. Could be Taylor for Manning with his left foot. I'll just have to wait and see. Let's look at the man lying down behind the wall, which I think has got 5 bodies in it. Correction 4. 4 and 1 behind lying. It's going to be Stuart. It's going to be Adam Armstrong. What a good save! He went right through the wall, and the goalkeeper made a marvellous save. Connor Hazard. The wall split, and Hazard got a big left hand on it and tipped it away. Look at that wall disintegrate down the middle. It was almost costly there for Plymouth in more ways than one. Corner for Southampton, far side. Referee's called on Teller, and the ball's loose inside the area, and Adams and Armstrong were both in there and couldn't profit from it. Again, a bit of a miss there. Adams had a swipe. Teller didn't have a swipe. Teller was still coming on the field. There was 1 or 2 Saints players who had a swipe at it but couldn't apply the finishing touch, and Plymouth got off the hook twice there in about a minute. 4 minutes to go. Hazard gives it a big one bomb up the field. Only finds halfway though. Warrington dummies it, but only into the path of Southampton, who are now looking to win this game. Now they got the more likely winners out of the 2 teams you would fancy. But never discount Plymouth at your peril, because they're a decent side, especially here at home. And their home form is going to be crucial if they are to get their initial target, 50 points. That's the target that Stephen Schumacher will have had in mind at the start. Plymouth, you would argue, won't be one of the teams. Attendance has just been confirmed, 16,392. So 16,932. Crowd of Plymouth. 3 minutes to play. Right, I better choose a player of the match in a second. Connor Hazard there. Let's watch this save from Connor Hazard. Sees it very late through that wall. The wall gets full there They think Moran's going to wind up the shot, but then he was the decoy, and the goalkeeper had to move swiftly to get across there, and half the Southampton fans thought it had gone in. Look at that. That's a nice bit of sportsmanship there from Che Adams towards Conor Hazard. That's the sort of sportsmanship we like to hear as Southampton go in search of a winning goal again. It's hard to choose a player of the match at this stage. They've got a corner here, Southampton. We're going to have to break off with the player of the match for a second or two. Adams looked as if he was going to volley it, but Miller got back in the nick of time and stopped him. Number 6 corner. They look no more likely winners here at the end of it all. Plymouth 1, Southampton 1 at the moment. Short corner. Shot comes in along the neck. Out away again. The corner came in from the left-hand side, or the corner was taken from the left-hand side. The ball now knocked back. Batudu away. And a long clearance down the field. Walker-Peters has read it. Still Kyle Walker-Peters. Right in the last knockings now. Walker-Peters' cross is towards the back post. Teller is there, who scored the opening goal. Can he get another one? It's Teller with a shot, and it's over the top. And a goal kick to Plymouth Argyle. Now, the player of the match, and I'm going to talk about Nathan Teller. I think he's, by and large, the best player on the field. He's very lively. He's just pinched it for me. He's just picked Mumba to the award because Teller obviously scored that great goal. Could have had one just then. I think if Burley had to step it up, his price has gone up a little bit now. Substitution being made. But, yeah, Nathan Teller, my player of the match. He's really worked very hard. Down either flank he's had to work on. But it looks as if the day could well be over. But our player of the match, who's currently injured, is Nathan Teller of Southampton. Just pipping Mumba of Plymouth to the award. Sponsored, of course, by Commentary Services. So Teller going off. And 18 is Barra, who's going to take his place. So our player of the match, being stretchered off or being hobbling off. And that's a big blow for Southampton. Probably in more ways than one now. So Russell Martin didn't have any problems already with personnel and all that. He doesn't want a chronic injury crisis now. We're 15 seconds away from the end of normal time here. 1-1. And what's been a better second half performance. So why couldn't they just took him off at the other end of the field? Why couldn't they just gone off on the near touchline? He was quite near that touchline. We're going to have 8 additional minutes. Well, it looks as if, in fact, we're going to have 9 additional minutes. It says 8 on our scoreboard caption on our monitors. But the fourth official, Tom Neal, has just shown 9. So I don't know what all that's about. It says 8 on our television caption. And in fact, that's been changed tonight. So we've got 9 added minutes. We're into the first of these 9 minutes. So it's still time for one of these two sides to take home the spoils and 3 points. And there's a foul been given. The referee has given it against Jack Stevens. Yellow card for him. Dangerous challenge. This was what happened. It was a foul on Whittaker. Yet took him out midway inside the Southampton half. So Stevens becomes the latest recipient of a cautionable yellow card. We've played a minute of the 9. And I should stress at this point, it's a minimum of. We had 9 practically at the City Ground last night. And what a frantic finish there. Well, we see another frantic finish this afternoon at Home Park. Here comes the free kick, hoisted into the penalty area there by Randall, but it comes away once more, and it'll be a Plymouth throw. Mamu Adebayo making the clearance, and now Plymouth will feel that with 9 minutes of stoppage time, they've got every chance, and with Teller off the field, they've got every chance. Here's Whittaker now. He's had a decent game himself down the right-hand side. Whittaker now into the area. Whittaker shoots, and he nearly hit I think he might have hit the near post as well. I think he hits the right-hand post. Well, he takes on man in here, gets his shot away, and I'm not sure whether he hit the post or not. I'd like to see it from another angle. the angle we saw it from there didn't give a conclusive view whether that hit the post, but my gut feeling was he smashed that against the bottom of the right-hand near post. And if that's the case, both sides then have hit the woodwork in the second half as well, scored one each. Ball back with the goalkeeper. Here's Stevens. Manning. We're now going up towards the end now of what's been a compelling second half. A second half, really, that has ebbed and flowed almost like an FA Cup game, this. It's been very enjoyable to watch. And here they come again now. Marvin now gets his first touch, replacing Teller, of course. Our player of the match, of course, just to remind you. We've played 3 of the 9 minutes at the end of what's been a compelling game of football. Ball is ushered out. It will be a corner kick. And Ami Bayou wants to get on with it. Or Amiao, I think it's the pronunciation. I'm going to use his second part of his double barrel name now because we haven't got time for anything else. So it's just going to, because it's going to be a frantic end here. Both teams know a goal now will take them top of the league for at least a couple of hours. With all the other teams to play at 3 o'clock. The ball into the penalty area, flicked on again. Inside the area, header one. Oh, and surely a goal for Che Adams. He couldn't miss from 2 yards. And Southampton has stolen it right at the death. Che Adams with his 3rd of the season. Looks like it's stolen all 3 points for Russell Martin's men. And has been standing going top of the championship for at least a couple of hours. It's tough on Plymouth, who have given their all and could have scored themselves a couple of minutes ago. But Che Adams has won it for Plymouth. The flag stayed down. It's touch and go where it was offside. The goalkeeper could only parry it into his path. It was a great save. Plymouth didn't get the first ball away or the second. The goalkeeper did well to even get a glove on the header for goalwards, which was by Adam Armstrong. It was a good header from Armstrong. It was a great save, but Che Adams, 2 yards out, with the defender Miller on the floor. He couldn't miss. And Southampton have stolen it right at the death. Hard to say whether that's offside or not. There will be debates whether that was offside. Oh, I think he's just level for me. I think that's perfectly a reasonable goal. And it's tough for Plymouth to take, I know, but I think looking at the evidence again, I think he's just onside. And the man who's courted by Everton has claimed his 3rd goal of the season. And it looks as if the Southampton are going back to the south coast, to Hampshire, with all 3 points. But still, remember, Plymouth conceded but then got back level. They have a free kick into the penalty area. It goes. So 2-1. We've played nearly 6 minutes of the 9. Still 3 minutes to go, remember. And it will be a tough one for Steven Schumacher to take, but there's plenty of positives that Plymouth can take even if they lose here today. Which results against the sides like Southampton that are going to define where they'll end up at the end of the season. They have to play the teams around them at the wrong end of the table to see if they can just make sure. But at the end of the day, it's a tough one for Plymouth to take. It's a tough one for Plymouth to take in all sorts of different reasons. So 2-1 still as we go into the 6th minute of 9. What a finish this has been. Fantastic performance this has really been. And it really is tough on Plymouth because they've really given it their best shot today. But when you don't take your chances, the one coming back off the post really was the one, but the flag was quite rightly not raised when the ball was played in. And we've got 1 minute, we've got a couple of minutes to go. Remember, 9 minutes we're adding, and I should stress a minimum of. And here's Stevens at the back, trying to make inroads again. The ball knocked forward. And once again, Once again, the ball absolutely not forward once again. And here comes Adam Armstrong. What a finish it has been to this game of football. We've really enjoyed ourselves here at Home Park this afternoon. It's been a terrific game of football. Played in a very good spirit. Played in, as Kenny Everett would say, the best possible taste. But at the end of it all, it looks as if it's going to be Southampton getting all 3 points now come the end of this one. And now seconds remain. It's been a barnstorming finish. And here comes Armstrong over to the far side. Just 1 minute and 9 remains. And the shot come in. It's straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. So we've got about 50 seconds to go. And Charles with the effort. But I have to say Plymouth have played their part in a truly stupendous game of football. But it looks like Southampton are going to get all the spoils here. But can Plymouth equalise in the last seconds? They've got 30 seconds to go. And now Whittaker wins a free kick right at the end. This is going to be the last swing now for Plymouth Argyle. Been a great game, great second half, but it looks as if it's going to end in defeat, possibly for Plymouth Argyle. This is the last chance. 4 seconds of the stoppage time to go. This is the last swing. Out comes the keeper. Decisive punch. Still not away yet. Miller picks it up. They'll play on now until the end of this attack. The ball knocked it back across. Can Plymouth score right to the death? They're still in possession. Here comes the shot coming in. Still not away yet. Chance inside the area. And it won't break. And it's out for a corner. And we play on. Adam Armstrong, the striker. Doing some defensive work there. Whittaker trying to get the shot away. And then in the end, Randall just couldn't get it out from under his feet as he drove into the area. We play 30 seconds over the 9 minutes. Now the goalkeeper's forward. Hazard, can he cause some haphazardness in that Southampton defence? The ball is towards the penalty area. The keeper well out of his goal. Still we play on. We're coming up towards 10 minutes of stoppage time played. The goalkeeper again with a fist away. And surely that must be that now. But the throw has been given. Referee checks his watch. And still we play on. Can Plymouth pull up a late show here at the end of it all? Into the area it goes. And that should be that now. And there is the final whistle after 10 minutes of added on time. Nathan Tiller scoring the opening goal after 49 minutes. 2 minutes later, Hardy had equalised. But then the winning goal, 3 minutes into stoppage time from Che Adams, deciding it all. What a finish, Nicholas, to what was a terrific second half of real proper championship football. Much better than that, what we expected. And it's finished here at Home Park. Plymouth 1, Southampton 2.
Thanks, JB. Southampton may have won, but Plymouth kept the score down. They did really well. They did really well against a side ranked higher than them. And as JB says, Southampton now lead the championship, albeit temporarily, as we still have the bulk of the EFL games to come. But that won't be our focus of interest later today. It will be Manchester City against Newcastle United in the Premier League. Paul James presenting that one with Russ Vernon on the microphone. Then tomorrow, Spain against England in the Women's World Cup final at the Stadium Australia in Sydney, with myself hoping to bring you a Lionesses victory just as they did in the Euros last year. Then we cross some 10,500 miles from Sydney to Aston Villa against Everton in the Premier League. Join JB for that one. Although, as he said, if extra time and penalties occur, there may be there may be split channels, but we'll keep you informed on that one. And then later on at 4:30, it's West Ham United against Chelsea with Paul James and Mike Harneman. From a very cagey first half to an action-packed second half. It all led to an action-packed second half. Plymouth, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, Plymouth Argyle started well, but will they be able to keep hold of their momentum going forward in the weeks to come? We shall see throughout the championship. That's all from us. And until later on this evening between Manchester City and Newcastle, between Ross and Paul, from us, it's goodbye for now.